Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, you know the Yankees have a lot of Hall of Famers in there in Cooperstown wearing the Yankee pinstripes and the interlocking NY hat in there, have the plaque on the wall. But we're going to talk about a Hall of Famer who wasn't a Yankee, and again, the newest Hall of Famer, the Fred McGriff. I did go over the whole Scott Rowland thing. Again, he was voted in, but Fred McGriff inducted this season with Scott Rowland, but he came via the Veterans Committee, who kind of looks at players that maybe weren't voted in the traditional way while they were eligible for 10 years, but feel that, they deserve to be in there. Kind of went through this, previous episodes, probably more on the YouTube episode. But it kind of went over Scott Rowland, who I don't exactly see as a Hall of Famer. Now, his whole thing is that he has the incredible WAR, so he's kind of in on a stats guy. I'm not saying he was a garbage player, he was a good player, but he's not someone I ever looked at and say, wow, this is a Hall of Famer. But he got voted in. Now, Fred McGriff, for years, I thought, not saying he was a no doubt about it, but I felt someone that should have been in the Hall of Fame. I just remember the era, he was definitely one of the more feared hitters in the game, consistently with home run power, with putting up RBIs, and he did it for a long period of time. And if you just look at a lot of his stats, mainly, ended up with 493 career home runs. I mean, this 7 shy of the magic 500. And there's never been a whisper or an allegation of him utilizing any performance-enhancing stuff. So, all right, even if he didn't hit the magic 500, he's right there. And a career 284 hitter. The last couple of seasons, obviously, when the older player, I think that hurt a lot, his career average. For most of the 90s, I mean, he was like a 300 type hitter. I mean, yeah, the numbers are numbers, and he's 284, but he was probably more closer to a 290, 300 type hitter again, when things were going his heyday, again, towards the end of his career, kind of hung on a little bit, maybe there, a year or two more. And again, not being the same play, drove down that average a little bit, but nevertheless, impressive play, and plus the fact to take 2,400 career hits as well. So, again, he never hit those major milestones, but just right there. And again, a good player, again, one of the more dominant players of the late 80s throughout the 90s. And so, I'm happy he did get voted in by the committee there. If you look at his stats, he had 8 different seasons where he had 100 or more RBIs, and 2 of those seasons where he was in the 90s. So you had a situation where this guy could have had 10 seasons of producing 100 RBIs. So very impressive guy there. So I'm happy for him. Again, he's not really a demonstrative type of vocal guy. In fact, I don't even know what his voice sounds like. But just kind of keep to himself, just good solid ball player type of guy. So he gets the nod to enter Hall of Fame. Again, part of the 95 Braves championship team, 5-time Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star. So he's got the accolades, got the stuff. So I definitely see him more as a Hall of Fame than Scott Rowland. You can make a case for either, both of them not being in there, but I feel even more comfortable with Fred McGriff in there than Scott Rowland. And, of course, remember Fred McGriff against the Yankees, they had Game 1, Andy Pettitte serving up a 3-run home run. He just basically golfed the ball. So lefty on lefty there, McGriff able to kind of get a low pitch there from Pettitte and kind of serve it and hit the foul pole in Yankee Stadium there, put the Yankees in a big hole. I believe at that point put the Yankees maybe in a 5-1 hole, and that was kind of the end of that Game 1 there for the Yankees. And, of course, later on during that series when Joe Torre used to bring out Graham Lloyd, and he would eat both Ryan Klesko and Fred McGriff up there. But still, for Fred McGriff for a career, though, great career for him. Now, he's not the idea. Also, what hurt him, he kind of bounced around a lot, came up with San Diego, spent some time with the Toronto Blue Jays, then was with the Atlanta Braves for a number of years, then went to Tampa Bay. So I think also maybe what hurt him just, when you change uniforms like that, it kind of, I just think some writers, maybe it's unintentional, but I think they like a guy who's been in the same uniform for a long time. They kind of, I think just take a liking to those type of players, and more likely if someone's on the borderline, we'll vote them in if they were just kind of steady Eddie in one place in one uniform versus someone who's bounced around a lot. I just think they put that against play. Maybe they see that person as a sort of a mercenary, more or less, which I don't know if that's the case, but I think that's just probably some of the bias that was hurting McGriff as well, why he was eligible for those 10 years. But nevertheless, he got in, so happy about that. So a quickie episode, and this is why you want to be a podcast subscriber. Again, you're going to get this nowhere else. So make sure you listen to this podcast, and afterwards, make sure you subscribe. Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Get wrap-up reports after each series, and get little cool things like this, which are not available to anyone else. So catch you next time.